Number 7 was on the homework help video. This must be a heart. Number 8, there are multiple questions going on here. The probability of this happening is, in simplest form, 1/16. These are independent events. And the probability of this happening is 1/120th. Even though they seem like independent events, they're actually dependent events. And I'll talk about why right now. If you stay for this part, if you missed any of this, you should stay and listen. In the spinners below, what symbol should be placed in the empty section so that if you spin each spinner once, the probability of spinning 2 hearts, probability of heart is 1/4. Well, these are 2 separate spinners. Independent events give me the probability of heart multiplied by the probability of heart. Probability of heart on the second spinner, there's only 1 heart, but 4 places that the spinner is equally likely to land. If the overall probability is 1/4 and the probability of landing on a heart on this spinner is 1/4, this has to be 1. I mean, you can't, if you multiply by anything other than 1, you're not going to get 1/4 as your product. And since there are 4 possible equally likely places the spinner can land, it must be 4 favorable outcomes to give you a probability of 1, which is how you know that this must be a heart. They must all be hearts on the first spinner. Braden keeps his white and black chess pieces in separate bags. For each color there are 8 pawns, 2 rooks, 2 bishops, 2 knights, 1 queen, and 1 king. Are the events of drawing a king from the bag of white pieces, not replacing it, then drawing a pawn from the bag of black pieces, dependent or independent events? The reason that these are independent, even though it says not replacing it, is because you're picking from different bags. So even if you don't replace that, white knight, there are still all 8 black pieces in their own bag, and so that's a little bit tricky. But that's why they're independent. The probability of picking the white knight multiplied by the probability of picking a black pawn. There are 2 knights for each color. So there are 2 white knights in the bag of 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 white chess pieces. And then in the bag of 16 black chess pieces, 8 of them are pawns. And the 2/16 becomes 1/8, and then these 8s cancel, and this is why you get 1/16 as the overall probability. Are the events of drawing a bishop from the bag of white pieces, not replacing it, then drawing the queen from the same bag? So since we're not replacing it and we're drawing the second piece from the same bag, that's why these are dependent events. We want the white bishop, so the probability of bishop multiplied by the probability of the queen. There are 2 bishops and the 16 pieces, and then you have to remember that since it's dependent events, there are no longer 16 pieces in the bag, there are 15, and one of them is a queen. The 2/16 becomes 1/8, and 8 times 15 is 120, which is why this is 1/120, this probability. Okay, I was about to say I have no idea how challenging this was, but I've given this assignment before, so I have some idea. If you are struggling with any or all of this, or if you just want to say hello, just know that I'm in the 1:30 Zoom, happy to help with anything you need, or just glad to see you if you swing by and say hello. All right, thanks, class dismissed. Oh, send me that grade today. Bye.